So good morning. Welcome to class. It's 8:30, Tuesday, March 9th. Hope you guys are all doing well and had a good weekend and you're able to see my announcement in Moodle that we will be on Zoom today. I just think that's a little bit safer right now with a lot of people going into chambers for vaccines from all over the MHU community. So just be a good way to do class this week. And then Thursday, we have class. You get to kind of be independent and do it on your own. So I'm going to record the practice in advance and post it on our YouTube channel. And then you can watch it and participate in it anytime on Thursday or after. I'm just continuing to let people into the Zoom room. So, and then the next week is, I think that's our last week together. Is that right? The week of the 15th. That's the last week of the semester, I believe. So at the end of the semester, you'll just have like a short one-page reflective essay, which I'll post as an assignment in Moodle. So have your camera on so I can see you and know that you're here. If you have any classes to make up, be sure that you are on top of that. And if you want to chat after, I can look at our attendance and see what classes you missed and what you need to make up. And then I'll double check if you have made up the class, watched it on YouTube. Then to get full credit, just send me kind of a summary, like a short email. Hi, Professor Morrow. I, made up the class on March 4th, and we did a nice guided meditation at the end, and we did spinal strengthening, and it's basically so I know that you actually did the assignment. So if you are just coming in, if you came in late, make sure you have your camera on to you so I can see that you're here and present and doing the practice. We're gonna go over some things, do a little lecture, and then we'll do our movement practice. And together in person, I think you can really feel the power of the practice, especially in a group. So I want you to all kind of cultivate this feeling like we're together in person, that you're really here and present. So you're not really doing anything on your own that you wouldn't do like in a class with all of us together. So if you have like a device that might be distracting you, or you're doing something else, really try to stay here and present in the space. So let's start with a little meditation, grounding us. So you can sit on the ground on your mat or on a chair and find a cross-legged position, or you can stretch your legs straight in front of you if you're tight, and then just shift a little side to side, and then shift a little forward and back. And then create a nice, long, tall spine here. So see if you can bring your shoulders back over your hips and the crown of the head a little bit back, kind of right over your shoulders. And then a couple just shoulder shrugs, draw your shoulders up, back and around, up, back and around. And then one more time, up, back and around. And then let your shoulders drop. Maybe let your eyes close. And welcome yourself into the space. You can rest your hands down on your knees or your thighs for grounding, or maybe palms up for receiving. And take this time to really tap into center, into presence. Coming into the space with attention, with intention. And we'll start with a couple cleansing breaths to really drop in. So take a deep breath in through your nose, and then let a big sigh out of your mouth. So if you're in a space where that's safe, take a deep breath in through your nose, and then let a nice cleansing sigh out of the mouth. And then one more breathing in, and sigh, let it go. And then see if you can really come into your body, feeling your breath here. Let your belly expand as you breathe in and contract as you breathe out. Deep breath in, expand. Full breath out, contract. And see if you can continue to breathe deeply in and out of the nose. And send the breath down into your low belly, breathing in, letting go. Full deep breath in and a full complete breath out. And notice what's here for you this morning in your practice on your mat. As you start to come to presence and breathe deeply, is there some anxiousness there? Some achiness? Are you feeling sleepy or relaxed? So just with non-judgment, paying attention this morning to the body, to the breath, this space, noticing how you feel. Inhale, exhale. See if you can resist any urge to wiggle, move, or be distracted. And just let the breath be kind of soothing to your body. Settling into the space. Now bring your hands together in front of your heart, like your palms touch, in this prayer position, Anjali Mudra. And here I invite you to set a personal intention for your practice today. Maybe it's an intention you want to take with you into the rest of your day or your week. You choosing a word or a phrase, a word like presence, peace, focus, or productivity. Maybe it's a word like playfulness or joy or happiness. Kind of something maybe you want to call in. Take a deep breath in, let a deep breath out. And then you can lower your hands down and open your eyes. Just kind of pay attention, notice how you feel, getting still, getting quiet. So this morning we're going to kind of go over some of the philosophical themes we've been talking about in class, kind of like the roots of yoga philosophy. And then we're going to talk a little bit about one ancient text called the Yoga Sutras and go over kind of the most popular sutras. And then we'll do our practice and you'll be on your way. So if you have a notebook and pencil and you want to take notes, you can. We'll just kind of review the 8 limbs of yoga, right? So the practice of yoga in its whole entirety is through this limb of the 8 limbs. And the first limb, as you'll probably remember, is yama. The yamas are kind of our ethical or spiritual guidelines we have for society. So kind of thinking of like the nose, the stopping of the causes of suffering. So compassion. And there are 5 yamas, which we've gone over: ahimsa, nonviolence; satya, truthfulness; asteya, non-stealing; brahmacharya, right use of energy; and apigraha, which means non-hoarding. And if you really kind of dive deep into this practice, you can take each yama and look at your life through this lens, through your speech, your thought, your actions. So just with ahimsa. So are your words and your voice and your writing, your presence, are they nonviolent? And are your thoughts nonviolent? And your actions, what you're doing? Like, do you litter and that's like violent towards the earth? Or do you eat like lots of meat every meal and maybe that's like negatively impacting the animals or the earth? And the music you consume, the media you watch, if you gossip and that's kind of violent, you're like, oh, she's so horrible. So this is just a really kind of beautiful way to look at your life and your behaviors and how you're showing up and what you're doing. The second limb is niyama, right? So this kind of review, like repeating, that's how we learn and memorize, going over and over. So personal guidelines to care and growth. So these 5 guidelines to inner care. So the yeses. So if the niyamas are for society and the group, the niyamas are for ourselves. So the first niyama is saucha, which means cleanliness or purity. You can think about that for your own personal space, like keeping your yoga mat clean and showering every day and brushing your teeth. So the kind of obvious ways. And also, your space. If you have a car, is there garbage in your car? Do you have like a junk drawer in your desk? Is there like a junk drawer in your mind of like old patterns or behaviors or kind of traumas that kind of still like bring you down, like these old thoughts or habits. So how can we really like purify and cleanse our body with our speech or thought or action? You know, you could go on like a juice fast or a cleanse. You could go on like a shopping freeze, a gossip cleanse to really apply this first niyama to your life. The second niyama is santosha, contentment. So we talked about this kind of this feeling of gratitude and acceptance, gratitude for our lives just the way they are, and not with having added anything or done anything, but real deep, meaningful gratitude for our own situations just the way they are. Trey, if you can put your video on, that would be helpful. And then the next niyama is tapas, which means transformation or discipline or heat. So sometimes we need a little bit of like energy and fire, like get us going or to motivate us to really like start the project or, you know, like lead the class or whatever it might be. So tapas is this kind of energy and discipline, hard work. And then the fourth niyama is svadhyaya, which means self-study. So this is an element that is really, I think, deeply rooted in yoga in all the ways. So yoga is really all about self-study and self-observation. So you know, that saying, that old quote that the unexamined life is a life not worth living. So really learning about ourselves, which is what you guys are doing here in college. I mean, college is a time to like discover and learn and explore and try different things and see what works for you. So this is a real time, like as you study different subjects and see what you like and decide what your major is and maybe think about your future and your career. So this is like the niyama that I feel like is really applicable for your time in life. College, you're studying everything. You're kind of soaking all of these new life experiences up, and then you take what you want and you learn about yourself and what works for you, and that's what you take into your life, hopefully. And then the last niyama is Ishvara Pranidhana, which can be translated as surrender or devotion to our teachers. We can think of it kind of more traditional translation as a surrender to God, or a kind of, you know, the gesture of like letting it go or giving it up, let go and let God, Jesus take the wheel, that sort of thing. But in a more kind of secular, grounded translation, you might just say like devotion to our teachers. So all of our teachers, our parents, our ancestors, you know, our professors, you know, maybe your guidance counselor in high school, like really surrender to the people who have taught you, who've been your Ishvara, your teacher. So the niyamas are how we take care of ourselves and conduct ourselves. So those first two limbs, the yamas and niyamas, these like 10 ethical guidelines to live a morally disciplined life. The third limb of the 8 limbs of yoga is asana. Asanas are the postures, right? So most of the yoga happening, I think, in our country, portrayed in pop culture is asana. So, you know, like handstand and downward dog and child's pose and tree and forward fold, those are all asanas. And if you really look through these lens of the 8 limbs, we want to think about each posture being steady in yourself. So the kind of first posture is just a seated position, so this meditative pose. And the ancient texts say that we want to be steady and comfortable in each pose. So steadiness and comfort, this effort and ease. Not only physically do we want to find comfort, but in our minds. So we want our minds to be really clear, like meditation. So our senses are sharpened, anchored in the body to sit and to be present. So that's kind of the definition of asana, not just the postures, but being comfortably seated, steady in all of the poses. And says by relaxing effort and fixing the mind on the infinite, asana is perfected. So maybe you're working really hard on your warrior two, and then after a while you start to soften and let your mind get focused, and then your posture is perfected. And the kind of yoga we've been practicing is called Hatha yoga, Hatha, and Ha means sun, Tha means moon. So it's this balance between sun and moon, masculine and feminine, dark and light. So this really balanced practice. And the kind of classic reason for practicing asana was to sit comfortably in meditation, to keep the body healthy for meditation and for service, to burn off excess, to return to balance. So the ancient yogis in India and like the Himalayas would sit in meditation all day long for 12 to 14 hours, and their bodies became atrophy. And that's how they created the yoga posture, so that they could keep their bodies strong, so that they were able to meditate. We have to be mindful of the asana practice, because it can be kind of a playground for the ego or body image, and we get really far off of what kind of the original intention was. So our practice is a beautiful place to watch what our patterns are, and then we can translate that on and off the mat. So in every posture, we want to find a place where we're sitting in the present moment, where our thoughts are centered, and what you're experiencing in that pose internally and externally, just noticing, right? So our thoughts and our body. And then from that, we learn to sit with our feelings. We stay grounded in the present moment. So a really regular, strong asana practice can have these beautiful ripple effects into all areas of your life. Maybe you become better at schoolwork because you feel more focused and open. Maybe you are a better listener in your relationships. So when you're talking in conversation, you're not just like thinking about what you're going to say next, but you're really listening and hearing it and pausing before you respond. So you're a better friend, a better partner, a better parent, sibling, all the things. So that is our third limb, asana. The fourth limb is pranayama, right? So that's the breathing exercise. It's prana is life force energy, yama is to restrain. So this vital life force, the energy control. So how we're controlling the breath. And there are four parts of the breath, right? The inhale and the hold at the top, the exhale, and the bottom of the exhale. So we've gone over lots of different pranayama exercises, right? Square breathing, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, kind of like this shape of a square. Samavriti breathing, which is the same length. So the inhales and the exhales are the same. I think we've done breath of fire. You sharply exhale out through your nose, pumping your belly. The 3-part breath, the Durga breath, the alternate nostril breathing. So there are a lot of powerful ways to kind of control and retain the breath. And I think breathing is really kind of trendy right now. I know that sounds silly, like we breathe every day, but I don't know, has anyone ever heard of Wim Hof? You guys know the Wim Hof method? Yeah, so super cool. It's this like crazy guy from Iceland, and he does like these ice plunges. And there's been all these studies that say like cold plunges can help with anxiety and depression. They're really beneficial and therapeutic and great for your circulation. And he has these like really cool breath techniques where you warm yourself up and then you get into this cold water and you go and like really breathe deeply. And so that's like very popular right now. It's really cool. There's actually a sauna house in Asheville where you can go and do the cold plunges, or you can just go into the mountains as well for free. And then also you think about like free divers and who are able to hold their breath and control their breath. So pranayama can be another really powerful daily practice, a wellness practice, a tool for you to take with you, especially if meditation seems really scary or overwhelming, just kind of sitting in meditation, getting quiet. If you think like, I'm going to sit and do some breathing, that might be a nice way to kind of reframe your mind. Like, okay, I'm going to sit. I'm going to really lengthen my inhales and exhales nice and long to calm my body. So it's a really important part of the yoga practice, and a really skilled teacher will continually remind you to connect to your breath and connect to the movement in the breathing. So vinyasa yoga means to place in a special way and to connect with our breath. Our breath and movements are linked, and the placing in a special way is with our attention. So there's really so much we can learn. There are a ton of yoga books that are just dedicated to the breath. And I've recently read a really great book called Breath that came out this year by James Nestor, which is really interesting. He talks a lot about how it's really beneficial to breathe just in and out of your nose, how mouth breathing is really bad for your teeth, for your like whole ear, nose, and throat, sleep apnea, all this stuff. And he has this whole theory about taping your mouth at night. Does anyone sleep with their mouth open? Do you know if you do that? Yeah, I do too. And I've started doing this thing where I tape my mouth at night, and that can really help with a lot of different things, but especially with your energy. So Our bodies are these crazy science experiments we can mess with. It's like, okay, Tuesday morning, I'm going to eat 1 egg for breakfast and some rice. I'm going to see how that feels. And Wednesday morning, I'm going to have a smoothie with protein and strawberry banana and peanut butter and see how long that lasts for me. So our diet, we can really explore and play with, our interaction with people, our breath, our mood. It's really cool if we kind of get sensitive and feel and notice. So just have 4 more of the 8 limbs, and then we'll do our practice. If you need to stand up or move around or stretch, you can. So the 5th limb is called pratyahara, which means sense withdrawal. So pratya is kind of like opposite directions to take in sensory input. So in a very obvious way, you might think like to close your eyes, like a class where we do pratyahara, you might wear a face mask over your eyes and really let the whole experience be inward. So decreasing the sensory information in your life, all that you're taking in, to just one sense at a time. So a pratyahara practice also might just be mindfully paying attention to like what you smell. So you can just kind of sit tall here and take a couple deep breaths in through your nose and see if you can just focus on the sense of smell. What do you smell? Is it anything, or is it bad? Is it good? Just paying attention. And then bring your attention to this just auditory observance. So just focusing on what you can hear. Maybe you hear birds outside. Maybe you hear people around you. Maybe like the buzzing of electricity or a refrigerator or your computer. Maybe cars passing. And then bring your attention to the sense of taste in your mouth. Can you kind of feel the tongue and your teeth? And can you still kind of taste maybe the last thing you had in your mouth? Maybe it's like fresh, like your toothpaste, or maybe it's like bad morning breath. So just kind of noticing that sense of taste. So this is pratyahara, sense withdrawal, our sight, sound, smell, touch, taste. There's also a really beautiful meditation practice where you look at a candle and you just stare at a candle. And you guys have probably all had this experience if you're ever looking in a bonfire or in a fire and you just kind of like, your eyes kind of get soft and kind of zoom out and you're transfixed at this like beautiful fire and you like watch the flame flicker. That's also a really nice meditation practice if meditation is new or challenging for you, to really just like look, and it can be really beautiful. And you can do the same thing like outside, looking at a tree, noticing the wind. And when we slow down and we see and feel and notice, this is when life kind of gets a little brighter. All of a sudden after meditation or after your yoga practice, you might think like, wow, the sky looks really blue and the mountains are so beautiful, or like my body feels so relaxed. So just kind of having this like brighter, better experience for our lives. And I think that's something people really seek through like experimentation with like drugs or alcohol, or like big adventures, like these thrill seeking. But all of those like drugs are already in our brain. We can access this and have really potent experiences just with our own body. So it's a really, I think, healthy way to explore. So the pratyahara, the 5th limb, sense withdrawal, going in, keeping our energy around this central channel. The 6th limb is dharana, and the 7th is dhyana. So dharana and dhyana usually go together. So dharana means concentration, holding the mind steady, maybe on one point of focus, right? Like the pratyahara, focus of energy and attention, a single point of focus on the mind or concentration, where the breath is coming in and going out, focusing on your nostrils and really training your mind to focus it where you want it to go. So dharana. And then the 7th limb, dhyana, is meditation. So in its true sense, meditation is going beyond thought. So this is the preparation for the next limb, which is the 8th limb on the path, which is samadhi, which is a state of oneness, a sense of union with self and with all other things around you, feeling union with everything around you. So some people say samadhi is like enlightenment or bliss or liberation. And I think if everyone did yoga and practiced these limbs, we might have a much happier, less violent, better world. So if politicians or people of different political sways or from different backgrounds or people who look different really focus on themselves and like breathing and feeling one, they might notice like we're all connected. I think especially in this past year, everyone, no matter who you are or where you live or your economic standing or your age, we've all gone through this kind of big unifying experience of this global pandemic, this like crazy experience no one's ever had in their lifetime. So it's this also can be a beautiful way of connection. So anyone even standing in line at the grocery store, wherever you might be, you have this this connector. And I think the more we can see how we are all similar and connected, the more happy and joyful, and the more connected everyone can be. So that's why I really believe in this yoga practice and the benefits we can have. So just to review the 8 limbs of yoga: yamas, kind of the ethical guidelines for society; the niyamas, the personal guidelines for ourselves; asana, the postures; pranayama, the breath; pratyahara, sense withdrawal; dharana, concentration; dhyana, meditation; and samadhi, which is kind of bliss, enlightenment, liberation, maybe kind of like the end goal. So those are the 8 limbs of yoga. And if you don't ever remember anything else from this class, years gone by, maybe you're like, wow, I remember taking yoga in college and the teacher saying all this cool stuff about all these different ways to kind of live a morally well-rounded, ethical life, and to really treat our bodies well and to treat other people with kindness, right? So kind of all of these ethics that you might find in most world religions, treat others the way you want to be treated, all the golden rules, love your neighbor as yourself, all that stuff. So I was going to go over the first 4 Yoga Sutras. The Yoga Sutras is kind of the main text in yoga philosophy. There's a whole translation of the sutras in your book, The Heart of Yoga. But I think we should move. I think we should do our yoga practice now, because that's probably a half hour of talking and just listening to lecture. I know can be a lot. So let's come onto our mat and do our practice. Does anyone have any requests for what they want to work on today or anything like that? How are you guys feeling? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did we lose some people? 79. Okay. Well, all right. So come onto your mat. So find your space, and if you can, set yourself up so that I can see you. That would be helpful. I know it's kind of hard. All right. So let's start in a standing position. So let's come to mountain pose. All right, and then just roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Good, roll your shoulders up, back, and around. And one more time. Good, give your hands a little shake, shake out your wrists, maybe shrug your shoulders a little. Good, and then just bob your knees and kind of go like this, kind of bob, bob, bob. You can kind of jump around and shake it out a little. Good, now see if you can kind of drop your heels on the mat. Just go drop, drop. So kind of dropping your heels should help you feel a little more grounded and secure. Drop, drop, good. And then see if you can bring your weight forward to your tippy toes and back over the heels of the feet. So shift a little forward and shift a little back. Now come to stand up nice and tall. Circle your shoulders up, back, and down. Arms down by your sides, and we'll do some half sun salutations to begin. So inhale, stretch your arms out and up, reach up, look up. And then exhale with a bend of your knees, come down and forward fold. Let your hands touch the mat or wherever they land. Bend your knees a lot, shake out your head, kind of pedal out your feet. Good, then lengthen your spine, look forward, half lift, your hands on your shins. Good, then refold in. Stretch your arms out wide as you rise up to stand, lift up. Good, and then hands come to the heart, mountain pose. Breathe in. Exhale. Inhale, arms stretch up, reach up. Good, this time, side bend over to the right. See if you can stretch your body up and over. You can grab your hand to your wrist and reach. Good, and then come back to center, a little bend of your knees, stretch up and over to the left, reaching down your sides. Good, come back to center, reach your arms up. Again, maybe a back bend, press forward, lift up. Good, then sweep your arms out and down, forward fold. This is called Uttanasana. Bend your knees, sway, maybe shake a little side to side. Good, look forward and lengthen, half lift. Good, refold. And then stretch your arms out wide, rise to stand, lift up. Good, and then hands to the heart. So those are half salutations. Now we're gonna do a full 7 salutation. So inhale as the arms stretch high. Exhale, forward fold, come down. Lengthen your spine as you gaze forward, half lift. Now plant your hands and step your feet back to plank pose. You can also have your knees down in modified plank. Now, just like you're doing a push-up, squeeze your elbows to your side, shift forward, chaturanga. Good, then lower all the way down to your belly. Stretch your legs back, and then lift up for cobra. Good, pull your chest forward, back bend. Good, and then lower your spine, back down, maybe forehead rests. Stretch your arms long, and then lift everything up, arms, legs, and chest. Breathe. Lower down, hands by your side, point your toes. Again, lift up cobra or upward dog. Good, and then press back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So if this is challenging for you, you can always come to your knees and table. Otherwise, see if you can walk your feet out a little here and feel a stretch in the backs of the legs. Right heel lowers, left knee bends. Left heel lowers, right knee bends. Go pedal and pedal. Good, now press back a little more, send your chest to your thighs, exhale. Good, hide your toes, bend your knees, and then walk your feet to your hands, come forward. Look up and lengthen. Good, lower down, and then stretch your arms as you rise to stand, lift up. Good, and then hands to the heart, mountain pose. Come down and have a seat. Come to a cross-legged position. And I'll just share a little bit with you about how a yoga class is kind of centered. So we usually start with grounding, which we did before lecture today. And then we do preparation poses. So kind of the warm-ups like cat-cow or seated here twisting. Then you move to the sun salutations, the warming postures. And then kind of the peak poses of the class. So the standing poses like warriors and tree and balance poses. And then so just kind of like a bell arc, the class starts, goes up, and then it goes down with hip openers, twists, maybe forward folds, and then Shavasana at the end, that relaxation pose. It's kind of like a little pull back up behind the curtain of how yoga teachers kind of have learned how to structure their class. So I'm kind of mixing it up today. Bring your hands on your knees and start to circle your spine around like this. Chest comes forward, circle to the side, back and around. Good, and then switch, go the other direction. And really feeling into the breath. Noticing here. Good, come back up to seated, squeeze your shoulders toward your ears, and drop your shoulders down. Shoulders squeeze up, and lower. One more time, shoulders squeeze up. Drop your shoulders down, and then give your shoulders a little shake. Sweep your arms down by your sides, and then inhale, reach them up. And then exhale, arms slow down. See if you can really connect the breath and the movement here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms slow down. And one more, inhale. And exhale. Good, side bend to the right. Lower your right hand down. Stretch your left arm up and over. And really reach through your waist, through your side body here. Stretch. Good, and then rise back up and twist to the right. Inhale as you lift tall. Exhale, twist back, maybe look back. Good, come back to center with your hands on your knees. Round your spine, shift back, think seated cat. Good, lift up and then stretch forward, think cow. Good, come to center, uncross and then recross your shins. Good, sit tall, arms come down. Inhale, arms reach up. And then exhale, lower down. Walk your left hand to the side and stretch up and over to the left. Good. Again, maybe the top shoulder pulls back. Maybe you circle your wrists a little. You can look down, look up. And then rise back to seated, twist to the left. Breathe in as you lift up. And breathe out as you twist back. Maybe look back. Good. And then come back to center. Hands on your knees, round your spine back. Reach up, arch your spine, shift forward. Good. Come to seated and then find tabletop position on all fours. Good. So spreading your fingers wide, nice big palms. See if you can bring your shoulders forward over your fingertips and then shift your shoulders back over the heels of the hands. You're just kind of bringing a little bit of weight into your hands. Look down at your hands and spread your fingers wide. Good. And then hold at kind of neutral table pose, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Now tuck your toes and arch your spine. Lift your hips, draw your shoulders down and back, cow. Point your toes and round your spine, cat, chin to chest. Inhale for cow, toes tuck, belly lowers, gaze up. Exhale, round, point your toes, chin in. One more time, inhale for cow, hips lift, chest lifts, look up. And then round for cat, chin to chest, pop your shoulder blades away along the back. Good, come back to neutral. Bring your knees together and then stretch your right leg back behind you. And then bend your knee and start to make some circles with your right leg, kind of with your hip. Bring your leg out, around, and up. And opening up that hip joint, circle in the other direction. Good, and then just stretch your leg back and pull your leg in. Stretch it back and pull it through. Hold it back and just give that leg a nice shake, shake, shake. And then step your right foot forward between your hands. Press your hands into your front thigh. Good, so you're in a low lunge position. So another thing we really want to think about in our yoga practice is warming up the hips and warming up the shoulders in the beginning of class. Good. Now bring your hands down and see if you can straighten through your front leg and bend into that front knee. So if you're really tight, this might be challenging. You can always come up onto your front, like press your hands on your thigh. Good, take it slow. Good, next time you come back with that front leg straight, just hold it back and stretch, breathe. Good, and then step your right leg back to tabletop position on all fours. Breathe in, breathe out. With your knees together, stretch your left leg back, and then kind of circle your leg in the air. The knee comes out, around and in. So waking up the left hip. And notice if it's really challenging to create a lot of range of motion there, just kind of move it a little bit or to whatever degree feels good. Circling it in the other direction. Waking up that left hip. Good, now stretch your legs straight back and pull your knee into your chest. Stretch it back, pull it through, stretch it back, hold it and give that leg a little shake, 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 shake. Good, and then step it forward for low lunge. Bend your front knee, press your hands into the front of that thigh. And maybe here you feel a stretch along the top of the right hip as well, or the front of the hip, that hip flexor area. Good, bring your hands down and straighten your leg, shift hips back. Bend as you shift your hips forward. Shift your hips back. Shift your hips forward. And then last time, shift your hips back from the left heel to right knee, chest over your thigh, fold in, and turn your toes out, point your toes in, flexing points. Good, and then rebend into your front knee. Plant your hands down and step your left leg back to tabletop position. So we've opened up the hips here. Now let's do some opening for your shoulders. So stretch your left arm up and then circle your left arm back, down, and forward. So like you're doing a little back stroke, and you can even get your whole torso involved. You want to circle your hips back and then stretch it forward. And then other direction, back, forward, around. Good. Hold your left arm up. Now bring your hand behind your head, elbow wide. And see if you can bring your left elbow towards your right wrist. Kind of come underneath you. And then open it out wide. Left elbow to right wrist. and stretch it open. One more time, left elbow to wrist. Stretch open. Now stretch your left arm up and weave your left arm underneath your right. Thread the needle pose. Right hand can be by your face. You can stretch it forward. You can also tuck your right toes and stretch your right leg back. Maybe lift it up. Good, breathe. Good, and then lower your knees down if you lifted it. Bring your right hand down, stretch your left arm back up, straight up, and then give it a little shake, shake, shake. Hopefully everyone got that, made sense. Good, come back to tabletop position. And let's just do a modification of a flow here. So walk your hands forward, walk your knees back. So you're in a variation of a plank, or you can be in plank position. Elbows squeeze, chest comes forward, chaturanga. Yogi push up, and then scoop through to cobra or up dog. Press back to tabletop. Nice, right leg, right arm lifts, circle it back, down, forward. And you can kind of circle your hips back, stretch that arm up, back, and around. Nice, big circles. Good, now stretch your arm forward, down, back, and around. Nice big circles like that. Good, hold your right arm lifted, circle your wrists a little bit. Good, now bring your right hand behind your head, elbow wide, face the floor. Bring your right elbow to tap your left wrist. Good, and then stretch it open. Right elbow, left wrist. And lift one more time, elbow to wrist. Good, open. Now stretch that right arm wide. Weave your right arm underneath your left. Let your right ear come down. Left hand can be in front of your face. You can stretch it forward. You can roll to the right side. Maybe lift your left leg up, maybe right heel. Just kind of fun variations. Good, and then press into the left hand. Stretch your right arm back up and bring it down, table pose. So we've warmed up the spine in all 6 directions it goes, right? Flexion, extension. We've moved it side to side, laterally, seated and twisted. And then we warmed up the hips and the shoulders. Good, let's come into another back bend here. So keep your hips over your knees, stretch your arms forward, and see if you can bring your chest down, your chin or your forehead. This is called puppy pose. Stretching the upper back. Good, and then lower all the way down. Keep your forearms in front of you, Sphinx pose. So think shoulders above elbows, forearms press forward, pull your chest through. And then here you can look to the right, you can look to the left, look forward. Good, lower all the way to your belly, hands by your chest, point your toes, lift up to cobra, and then take it back to downward dog. Breathe in, deep breath out. And think about almost bending your elbows and scooping your elbows towards one another, drawing your shoulders down and around, think like your lats on the side. Good, and then walk your feet to your hands. At the top of the mat, come down into a squat, Malasana. So see if you can go heels in, toes point out, bend your knees, sit low. And then straighten your legs and forward fold. Bend your knees and roll your spine up to stand, come all the way up. And then circle your shoulders up, back, and around. We'll do a couple standing poses and take it down to the cool down. So at the top of the mat, step your left leg back into a high lunge position, right? So a lot of you remember this from gym class, front knees bent, press back through your left heel, and then reach your arms up. Good, and then think about kind of taking any curve out of your spine, draw your front ribs down and in lift. Good, now straighten your legs and spin to the side of the mat, right legs, right toes face forward, left toes face the side, arms stretch out for triangle pose. So reach up, reach forward, and then lower that right hand on your shin or your ankle. Reach up through that left arm. So here you want to be feeling a stretch down the left side. Breathe. Good, and then rise back to triangle pose. Bend into your front knee, warrior 2. So if we were going through an arc sequence, this would be like the peak pose, all the way at the top. Have our most challenging position. Can you bend your knees and sit a little bit lower? Good, now straighten. Bring your hands to your hips. Walk your back foot in a little. And then lift your back heel, face the top of the mat. Now from here, can you spring up and balance on your right leg, bend your left knee into your chest. Maybe circle your left ankle a little. Good, and then bring your left foot onto your right thigh into tree pose. Good, press your foot into your leg into your foot, maybe hands come to the heart. Breathe, nice. Good, can you grow a little bit taller? Focus. So think Pratyahara. Good, and then bring your left leg forward, maybe stretch it out, and then let that leg kind of swing, let your arms kind of sway. Nice, so we'll just do one more side and then we'll take it down for rest. So not too challenging, hopefully. Good, feet down, underneath you. Just take a moment here in your mountain pose. So a mindful moment to pay attention. Maybe placing your hands on your body, ground into your feet. And just pay attention to how you feel, noticing one point of focus. Good, now we'll step the right leg back. I'm gonna switch sides so I'm still facing you, but you can stay in the same direction. Step your right leg back to crescent lunge. Really drag back through your heel, nice deep bend of your front knee, stretch your arms up, and drop your shoulders down. Good, nice deep breath here. Inhale, exhale. And now turn your back heel down, straighten your legs and open to the side for triangle pose. Arms stretch out wide, left toes face forward, right toes face the side, arms stretch out. Now reach forward, 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 and then come down. Left hand on your ankle, shin, your foot. Right arm reaches, maybe top shoulder draws back, maybe you look up. Breathe. Nice, and then with control, come back up, triangle. Good, bend into your front knee, open out wide, warrior two. Good, so think about that front knee going right over the middle of the left foot. Back heel presses down, arms spread wide, sit nice and low, breathe. Good, and then see if you can take it back to reverse your warrior. Good, rise back up, extended side angle, left forearm to thigh, right arm goes up and over. Good, lift back to warrior two. Then walk your back foot in a little, lift your back heel, hands to the heart, see if you can look to the top of the mat and spring up, balance on your left foot, bend your right knee in. Maybe circle your ankle a little. Good, and then bring your right foot inside the left thigh for tree pose. You can also put it to your calf or just lift your ankle to your heel to the ankle. And then think about drawing your knee away, hands to the heart, lift tall, breathe in, breathe out. One more. Good, bring your right leg forward, stretch it forward, and then let that leg kind of swing, let your arms kind of sway. Good, now I want you to just kind of shake everything out. Shake out your hands and your wrists, and then shake your shoulders, really shrug your shoulders. Get your upper body moving. And then I want you to really shake out your legs, shake, shake, shake. So take your right leg and shake out your ankle, your knee, your whole foot, your whole leg, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then left leg, like you're putting it in the middle of a hokey pokey. Shake it out, let all that kind of muscle and fat and bones kind of shake, shake, shake. And then shake your whole torso. And then maybe jump around a little bit. You can do a couple jumping jacks, just kind of waking up, getting your energy going. Jump around. You can run in place, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Really go for it. Shake, 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 shake. And then stop and place your hands on your body. And notice how you feel. Good. Come down onto the mat. And we're going to do some pranayama breathing. So if you have like a little cushion you might want to sit on, feel free to grab that. Otherwise, find a comfortable seated position. So crisscross applesauce or sitting on your heels or between your feet. So we'll do some breathing exercises we wouldn't really be able to do in person because of masks and COVID. So hopefully this will be fun. So sitting nice and tall, we're gonna do something called lion's breath. Have we done this before? Does anyone remember? So we're gonna breathe in through the nose, and on the exhale, you're gonna stick out your mouth, bring your hands up like that, open your eyes wide and go. If there are people around you, I know it might feel like weird and awkward, but just go with it. Say like my yoga teacher made me, it's weird. And imagine like you're trying to scare a small child. So eyes open wide, mouth open wide, stick your tongue out and go. Okay, you guys ready? So deep breath in, lion's breath. Open your eyes wide and think about kind of rolling your eyes into the back of the eyeballs. Take a deep breath in, lion's breath. Yeah, really stick your tongue out as far as it'll go. One more time, deep breath in. Lion's breath. Monroe, are you doing it? It's okay, you don't have to. All right, and just kind of notice how you feel, kind of getting out of yourself. Yeah, mixing things up. So now we're going to do something called Kapalabhati, which means breath of fire or skull shining breath. So this is a powerful exhale out of your nose, pumping your belly. It's called skull shining breath because it's supposed to make you feel so powerful. It's like there's almost a halo. So look at my belly. It's going to look like this. You take a deep breath in, empty out completely. Inhale halfway, and you're going to pump your belly. So you're pulling up and in, strong exhale out of your nose. So this is a great pose or a great posture, breathing exercise to energize, to wake up, and to clear your mind. So let your hands rest on your knees. Take a full breath in. Let a deep breath out. Inhale halfway, and then begin. So exhale, exhale, pumping your belly. The inhale is kind of passive, happening on its own. Keep going. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale. And then inhale, deep breath. Hold your breath at the top, hold it. And then exhale. Hold your breath at the bottom. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. And then let that go. Notice how you feel. Physically, maybe mentally, emotionally. We're going to do another round of breath of fire. Are you guys feeling like you're getting this? Raise your hand if this makes sense. Okay, good. So it's kind of making sense. It's kind of one of those things that when it's like a board game, like you just have to play for it to really connect and make sense. So this is also a nice breathing exercise too. If you're feeling really stressed and you feel like you can't breathe, just go. So sharp exhales out the nose. We'll do one more round of breath of fire. So take a deep breath in, sit tall. Exhale, let it go. Inhale halfway, and then begin. So sharp exhales out of your nose, pumping your belly. Keep going, keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Let it go. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. And let it go. Now we're going to take a moment for meditation here. So getting comfortable, and hopefully the asana practice we did and the pranayama, the meditation we did, has helped kind of prepare you for this moment. So get comfortable, sit tall, and close your eyes. And if it's not comfortable to close your eyes, you can keep a soft gaze on the floor at something in front of you. And here I just want you to pay attention and listen to your breath. Listen maybe to the sounds around you. Let your body soften here and let go. And notice what maybe thoughts creep up in your mind. So it's the mind's job to make thoughts, right? So it's really normal for there to be a lot of chatter, noise, and see if you can just redirect your brain to kind of turn off for a few minutes here as you sit and pay attention. Notice if there's a want for you to kind of like look at your phone or look away or distract, and see if you can keep bringing yourself right back into this present moment experience. So when we're able to pay attention and appreciate presence, our whole lives can feel and look a little brighter, shinier. Colors are kind of brighter. You can feel deeper and more, maybe more hopeful or happy for this present moment experience. And sometimes when we get still and quiet, a lot of old stuff can creep in, maybe trauma or anxiety or fear, and see if you can kind of be brave and step right up to the plate and confront whatever it is that creeps up. Holding space for yourself like you would a really good friend. So the job isn't to control the breath, it's just to pay attention to the inhales and exhales. So sitting tall, sitting here and breathing deeply. Notice your posture. See if you can sit tall. So you can see if you can feel lifted in the front, lifted through the back, crown of the head is reaching. Just one more minute here on meditation. Feel the lower half of your body grounding and rooting, the upper half of your body light and lifted. And just pay attention now to the effects of the practice here. The lecture, the postures, the asana, and the meditation. How do you feel now? Now we'll come to lie down on the back for final relaxation. So that was 5 minutes of meditation. Maybe notice if that felt like a really long time or not a long time at all. So if you're in your room and you have like a blanket or pillow, you can get yourself really comfortable. Maybe bring a blanket on top of you, a pillow underneath your head. You could put a piece of clothing or material over your eyes to get really comfortable. So final Shavasana is kind of like the icing on the cake of the practice.
Connected to your roots iPhone.
So taking this time to rest deeply and completely and let your whole body absorb. So come to lie down, get comfortable, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow, deep breath out. And we'll do a body scan meditation now. So I'll name each part of the body, and as I do, I'll invite you to let everything rest here. You don't have to move or make any effort, just relaxing. So start by bringing the attention to the crown of the head. Let the crown of the head relax. Being aware of your breathing, breathing deeply, smoothly, and evenly without any pauses or noise. So at the top of the head, relax your head and face. Soften your neck and shoulders. Relax the upper arms, lower arms, palms, and fingers. Relax your finger joints, your wrist, elbows, shoulder joints, and neck. Relax your chest, navel, lower abdomen, and hips. Relax your calves, your thighs, your feet, and your toes. Relax your toe joints, ankles, knees, and hip joint. Relax the whole pelvis. Relax your navel, the chest, shoulders and neck. Relax the face and the head. Continue to breathe deeply, smoothly, evenly. Now bring your attention to the space between the eyebrows, the eyebrow center. Keep your attention to this place and think to yourself the number 1. Now bring your attention to the center of the throat. 2. Right shoulder. 3. Right elbow joint. 4. Right wrist joint. 5. Relaxing and relaxing. Tip of the right thumb. Tip of the right index finger. Tip of the right middle finger. Ring finger, little finger. Now come back to the right wrist. 11. Right elbow. 12. Right shoulder. 13. Bring your attention to the center of the throat. 14. Now go across to the left shoulder. Relax the left elbow joint, left wrist joint, tip of the left thumb, tip of the left index finger, tip of the left middle finger, left ring finger, tip of the little finger. Come back to the left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder joint, relax. Bring your awareness to the center of the throat. Now bring your awareness down to the center of the chest. Now bring your attention to the right side of your chest, back to the center, into the left side of your chest, and then back to the center of your chest. Move your awareness down into the navel center, and down into your root, the pelvic center. Soften. Go across and bring the awareness into your right hip joint, down to your right knee joint, right ankle joint. Now bring awareness to the big toe on the right foot, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, little toe on the right foot. Now come up to the right ankle joint, the right knee joint, the right hip. Bring your awareness down into the pelvic center. And then go up and across to the front of the left hip, left knee joint, left ankle joint. Bring awareness to the big toe of the left foot, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, and little toe. Come back up to the left ankle joint, left knee, left hip, the pelvis, the navel center, center of the chest, throat center, eyebrow center. Continue to breathe here smoothly, deeply, and evenly, letting your whole body feel super relaxed. Let go. slowly rise and fall. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you're ready, now slowly start to bring some movement back in, wiggling through your fingers and your toes, rotating through your ankles and wrists. Turn your head gently side to side. And then when you're ready, stretch your arms up and your feet down, lengthen your body up and down, top to bottom. And then bend your knees in, give yourself a hug, rock a little side to side, and then as you're ready, rock up into a seated position. So coming to sit tall, place your hands in front of your heart. This prayer position, Anjali Mudra, as we close our practice. And there's this thing I wrote called, I like to call it the yogi prayer, and I'll just share it with you. It goes, may I stay grounded in my center. May I stay grounded in presence. May I have eyes to see clearly. Just seeing the moment that I'm in and knowing that what I'm seeing in front of me is through my own lens. May I trust myself to know, to have eyes to see, a heart to feel, and lips that speak the truth. May I listen very intentionally to this deep inner knowing. May I listen to my intuition. And may all that I do and we do serve the greater good and lift up anyone who might be oppressed, unheard, suffering, and in pain. May my life be an example of healing and love. When we close, just kind of bowing our heads and repeating a word that means the light and the dark inside me sees and acknowledges the light and dark in you. Namaste. All right, great job today, everyone.